Hey everybody, welcome to another What a Hell of a Way to Dad video bonus episode for you. I'm again trying to do more of these, so here we go with one in March. This is great because this is not one that's at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's actually 8:30 at night on a Sunday. I get to do this because my normal Sunday gaming session did not happen tonight, so I've got an evening free. And I've been trying to do like weekly emails that get sent out to my email group, and it gets really hard because like I don't do anything during the actual week when I should be doing things. And then I wait till the weekend, and then suddenly it's the weekend, and we had way too much stuff going on this weekend. Some stuff that we'll talk about, but then it becomes difficult to kind of catch up with stuff. So I'm finding that doing videos is a little bit easier than me writing, probably because more people interact with this, and I can go into more detail and discuss things a lot easier. The whole writing process is just so arduous for me now. I used to be a writer. I guess I'm not anymore. Now I'm just a talker. Now I'm just a podcaster. So what's been going on this week? I've got a couple of things that we'll talk about. First thing I do want to talk about, though, is if you're a St. Louisan and if you're kind of in the music scene, you may have known DJ Leon Lamont. He recently passed. I just found that out today. And Leon is one of those people who I knew him because my very first job was at this restaurant called Fitz's in the Loop area of St. Louis. So I was like 15 when I started there. I worked between 15 and 18 is when I worked there. Best job I ever had. The restaurant industry. I am the only person that had like nothing but positive experiences because I was 15 years old, 16 years old, didn't have any like real responsibilities. It makes it a lot easier when all the money that you're making is just going into your pocket so you can buy the dumb shit that you like and not like, you don't have to pay bills, you don't have to pay rent or anything. So, but I really enjoyed my time there. Leon was one of the people who also worked there. He was a bouncer upstairs sometimes, but also he just hung out. He knew a lot of the people that worked there, and we're talking 1999, 2000, that kind of general era. So, unfortunately, like, look, it's this month I'm turning 42. This is unfortunately when these things start to happen. Your friends start to pass away. I don't know what happened yet. So it's just unfortunate. It just got me thinking a lot about, my youth and how all the things that I used to do, all the shit that I got into back then, especially at Fitz's. Fitz's was one of the best places that I ever worked, just because of the people that I worked with. And it's funny because my parents, I look back and like my parents let me get away with a lot of stuff that in real. I don't know if I would have let my kid get away with some of the stuff. First off, me working there, like the Loop at this time. Now it's nice. It's a nice area. It's like all full of all Washington University kids. They really cleaned it up. As a person in their 40s who has a 9-year-old daughter, I really like how well lit and clean it is. But when I was 16, 17, I liked how gritty and kind of shitty it was. So I have just a lot of really great memories of that time, and all of that stuff really came flooding back. And I'm really glad that I had the people that I did when I was working there. My sister got me the job there, so my older sister there, and all the cooks and all the servers and all of the hosts and hostesses, because they knew my sister, they liked me, and because I'm not an asshole, they continued to like me. So. And Fitz's is where, let's see, one year I rigged up a mistletoe to hang over my head. Like I got a coat hanger and I bent it up and I was wearing a hat. And so I put it like in this part in the back and I had the mistletoe hanging over me. And let me tell you something. Every guy, server, every waiter that worked there at the time thought I looked like a complete idiot and was making fun of me. And I was like, look, I will not have sex with anybody. I know that because I'm 16. I am an understanding of that. But women find this adorable. So, and they did. I got so many kisses that day from all, not just the women that I was working with, but some of the customers kind of did too. So, it was certainly a time in my life, and like I said, I'm really grateful that I had Leon, my brother, my sister, Dan, the Gallows, just all of the people. Heather, who Heather, who was 21 years old, she was one of our hostesses, and she went to my, I'm gonna say junior, maybe I think junior, maybe senior homecoming dance at De Smet. And God bless her. She was I mean, she was a knockout. First off, everybody was very jealous of me showing up with this really gorgeous older lady who was 21 and who bought me vodka afterwards. That was the important thing. So yeah, it's just it sucks. It sucks to lose people, as it always does. Such is life, I guess. So I just wanted to say that I wanted to talk about Leon because he was always an important person in my life. The nicest dude too, like just super nice. He was well known in the music industry around here because he was a DJ. He was he was an award-winning DJ, not just a guy that hit play on his Spotify playlist. Like, he knew what he was doing. He was a drum and bass guy. He just played drums. He did session stuff all over the place. Most of the Steve, I found out because from my sister, but Steve Ewing, who is the front man for The Urge, if you're a St. Louisan, big St. Louis band, posted about it too. So he passed a couple of days ago. So I don't know. I just it sucks. It sucks to lose people. But I think we all know that, don't we? All right, let's talk about some of the things that we got into this week. So the first thing I want to talk about, I did a couple of things. We went to the World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis. I'd never been before, and it's apparently one of our, like, if you were a chess person, it's one of the shining beacons out there. But also we went to an antique mall. So on Friday, we were going to drive, my wife and I were going to drive up to Chicago to buy a car. Hertz has been selling off all of their rental stuff, and there's a lot of electric cars they have in there for fucking dirt cheap. And we love an electric car, so we were planning on going up there. So far, that's all fallen through. The car's not ready, funding, blah blah blah. So we weren't able to do that, but we still already had. Our daughter was like, "Oh, I want to stay over at Mimi and Papa's house." So, and I'm going to tell you one mistake that we made as parents, of the many that I'm sure every parent makes. But one mistake that we made is we weren't our daughter was and is very easy to take out. She's good in public. She'll just read a book. She's good with conversation. She likes adults and she likes kids. So she'll always hang out and she'll talk. But we didn't really ever push her to stay at somebody else's house because of that. Because she was like, oh, well, she's so easy to deal with. She goes to bed at a reasonable hour. But, when your parents, and parents out there, this, sometimes you need a night to yourself. And my wife and I were just like, okay, we're going to take her. She's going to go over there, and we're going back and forth about what restaurant do we want to go to? Do we want to go, Stacked is down the road. There's a really nice steakhouse that we used to go to, Roadhouse, which is a restaurant that we really like that gets kind of loud, and our daughter doesn't like it. And eventually what we did instead was my wife dropped our daughter off. Then she went by Deerberg's, which was one of our nicer grocery stores, and bought a shitload of snacks and brought it home. And then we ate snacks and watched What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show. So that's and honestly, I'm going to tell you, a perfect date night for me. She brought me a couple of beers, the big tall beers. She brought me a couple of beers and snacks, and that's really my love language right there. That's all that I need. So that was our Friday night. A very nice, relaxing evening at home. So a good way to start the weekend off. And then on Saturday, my wife and I got up. We went out. We got some breakfast. And then we did one of our favorite things that we used to do before our daughter was born, which was go to an antique mall. Antique malls, God bless them. We both have always loved going to antique malls. It's like it's like a museum where you can touch everything, right? Like, you go to a museum, you're not allowed to pick things up. You can't rub your hand all over the Mona Lisa. They don't like that. But here, all the shit that you might really want, or toys or anything like that, records, collectibles. The one that we go to, this one called Get Your Picks on Route 66, this is on the old Mother Road. That one is great. It's they got a lot of toy people there and a lot of video game people there. So classic video game stuff. Let's see, my gold Ducat. My gold Ducat came from there. So I think my Gowron did too. Maybe Gowron did as well. But yeah, for pretty cheap. Like I think I paid like $5 for Gowron here. He sits back there on my shelf that you can't see here. There you go. Now you can see them back there. So, a few things that I took pictures of that I really like. Uranium glass. I have gone back and forth about whether I want to buy uranium glass. Like, it's fine to use. Like, it's not toxic to use as long as you're not, like, swallowing bits of it. But, you know, it's still uranium. The cool thing is it glows under blacklight, though. So, and I have... At one point, I really wanted to get like a chalice of some kind because I wanted to start that, you know, that atomic priesthood that they talk about. If you ever read the Wikipedia on the long-term nuclear waste identification, you know, this is not a place of honor. That comes from there. The big spikes in the ground, hostile architecture, things like that. So, and one of them was a priesthood. So I had this idea that I was going to start the priesthood with some uranium glass. So I still haven't actually bought any. At a certain point, I really wanted to collect shit. But now I buy things to sell them. So if I came across this stuff, I would want to be finding it much cheaper than, you know, where we're finding it here because this is an antique mall. They know what they got. So these things are priced accordingly. I would want to find uranium glass in a estate sale or an auction or something where I'm getting it dirt cheap and then I can sell it to all of you on the internet with a warning in there that says, I'm not responsible for whatever the fuck you do with this. Please don't grind it up and snort it. You know, do that with your Adderalls, not with your uranium glass. All right, so something else. Local hero. So I already talked about Leon, great guy. Another local hero, Clownvis, a man who dresses as a clown version of Elvis. Clownvis has been doing. My wife actually knows Clownvis, like personally knows the guy who has been doing. Hasn't talked to him for years. He was one of those eccentric people from Webster, Kirkwood, something like that. And he's still going strong with this. Like he still does live streams. He has a Patreon. He is always doing stuff. He goes to the Gathering all the time. Columbus is pretty cool. I loved that I found a whole bunch of his t-shirts and stuff in there. I didn't pick one up. I'm not there yet with Columbus, but I love that he exists. And I love that, like any weird fixture inside of a city, you know, he's one of them. He's one of those weird people that a lot of people know about in St. Louis and maybe a few people outside, but mostly in St. Louis, people know who Clownvis is. So you can get your Clownvis swag up there at Get Your Picks. All right, look at this thing. This is an RC car. I had no idea. Let me embiggen this a little bit for you. I had no idea this shit existed somewhere. This is an RC Humvee, a 1/6 scale, batteries and remote control and everything all exists there. $250. I don't have that kind of money to drop on something that I'm never going to play with, but this was kind of incredible. And I work with people who do RC car stuff, and I want to whip this out. They're like, oh, they're doing racing. It's like, no, I'm here to do regime change. That's my RC thing. You can go as fast as you want. I will blow you all up. I put a tow missile on the top of this. All right. Next up, look at this. The Hunt for Red October. I used to be a model guy. I used to build models. I built an A-10 Warthog. I built a couple battleships. I built a Deep Space Nine station. And I loved doing it. I never painted. I never got to the painting stage. I only got to the gluing things together and saying, okay, look, putting little stickers on. So this is really cool. A Hunt for Red October one. And these model kits are, they're all complete and everything. So they're really cool to find. But I didn't pick it. I already have too many projects. I can't be picking up, doing models as well. But this Get Your Picks has a lot of different models in it. There's people who have all these kind of old ones. The funny thing about models, though, is that if you see a model like an old one, like a Hunt for Red October, and then you see a modern one, they're the exact same thing. Even the shitty boxes are the same. So getting a vintage one doesn't really mean anything because this is just an FA-18 Hornet. you're going to find a lot of them. There's probably some Hunt for Red October decals in it. I don't know. I've never actually seen Hunt for Red October, so I don't know what goes on there. And then finally, this one, I should have bought this. I should have bought this for Joe to hang up in his area, his recording area. This is and let me get this real big for you guys so you can see it. This is a painting of Custer's Last Stand, and if you see down below, that is a Budweiser stamp down there. I've seen this in a few other places. I think this exists in the Budweiser brewery. I'm not 100%, but who doesn't? What better way to commemorate a guy getting fucking stabbed to death by Native Americans than to paint it? Like, it's always like history's greatest own, and it's just there's so many like media representations of it of General Custer getting his shit kicked in. We love to see it, don't we? All right, so that was the Antique Mall. I didn't take any real pictures at Savers. We do go to Savers all the time too. I did find some stuff at Savers, but I will show you this. This is my latest piece. This was this sign originally said, "If you're lucky enough to be in the country, you're lucky enough." And I have made it say, "Rule of acquisition number 40: she can touch your lobes, but never your latinum." More of these to come. I am not going to put this up in the store quite yet. I have some in-person events coming up, and I need to have some art to hang up. So that will be there. So if you are a St. Louis head, the Rotary has their annual, there's biannual, semi-annual, twice a year. This is the spring one at Lindbergh High School, the first weekend of April, I believe. So you can buy that there unless somebody else buys it. I'm going to try to make a bunch more. I had a bunch of like these like money bags that I had made with rules of acquisition on them. So I really like. It's one of those wells I like to plumb into. So, and they're very easy to make too. Like this is just some painting, some sanding, and some. Using my Cricut to do a stencil and everything. So I think it looks good. Boom. All right. So let's talk about our spot that we went to yesterday. So we picked up the kid. The kid was feeling very tired. I get it. I was feeling very tired too. But my wife it was nice. It was so nice this weekend. So my wife really wanted to go out to do something. So what we ended up doing, going to the World Chess Hall of Fame, largest chess piece in the world, baby. World's largest, I'm there. Though we actually haven't been to the Chess Hall of Fame yet. So we decided to go. Like I said, we had never been. Even though it's free. It's a free museum. It's a fantastic museum. It's a little, you're going to spend an hour there, hour and a half. It's not big. If you're a big chess head, it's great. If you're just somebody who really likes the way that you can make chessboards look, it's really great too. So if we've got that, there we go. So inside they have all kinds of different chess pieces, chess boards throughout history. Look at a little cat and little dog. Some of them ceramic ones that are made by some kids. A really big cardboard dinosaur in there as well. And then this, I think this is like a Turkish one or something. So there are just like fantastic stuff going on here at the Chess Hall of Fame. Like I said, we hadn't been there, and I've tried to teach chess to both my wife and daughter. We picked up this Storytime chess thing, which they seemed like. My daughter wasn't getting too into the whole story time part of it, but like each story has, talks about how they move and take stuff and whatnot. And then you can get to strategies as you go along. But we did at Savers this weekend pick up something called No Stress Chess, which kind of has a more of a card system. Like you pull a card and then you get to move one of your pieces, and so it gives you a better idea. Each time you pull a card, it shows, okay, here you pulled the knight. Here's how the knight moves. Here's the directions that it can move. Things like that. I played chess a lot when I was younger, so I understand the rules. I was never good at it. You got to be able to think like 5 steps ahead. I can think maybe about 2, on a good day. So I didn't really do well playing chess, but I know how to. I enjoy it. Like, I don't dislike playing chess. I would play chess more if my wife or daughter knew how to. So maybe this'll get back into it. I don't know. I know that, the smartest people out there don't like chess because it doesn't have tech trees and whatnot. But I like the simplicity of I've got some guys, you got some guys. They all move the same, and we do some strategy going based on that. So World Chess Hall of Fame, highly recommend it. Like I said, it's a free museum. St. Louis has so many free museums. I think that's a really big reason why we are a good city. And I say that knowing that there's a lot of people who are going to scoff there. But we have free museums and a free zoo, and they're both pretty good. So we're doing all right there on that period. So. But that's it. That's what we got going on this week. So coming up, I have all of my bonus stuff already recorded for this month. So the first thing that's going to come out is going to be Season 2, Episode 2 of Deadliest Warrior. This one I have Milo from Glue Factory, Milo Edwards. So I have Milo Edwards from Glue Factory and Trash Future, who came on to discuss Genghis Khan versus Alexander the Great, which is a very strange matchup because they're usually like kind of a one-on-one or team-on-team fight with like, oh, I've got 4 guys, you've got 4 guys. But like Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great, their power was I am a leader and can command 200, 20,000, 30,000 people to do a thing. So it kind of loses a little bit there. So we have that. Let me get rid of this. We've got that coming. I have, an episode of Soundtracker. So if you are familiar with Eric Peacock's podcast Soundtracker, which you should be, he's done a lot of really great episodes. I brought him on to my show. Eric is a film guy. He's a music guy, but he's not a musical guy. So I brought him on to say, hey, let's watch some musicals. So we start out with Newsies, which we've already done Newsies. I did Newsies with the Zoo Crew with Joe and Carrie. And I know the both of them, they're just not movie people. Eric is a movie person. So that's why we're redoing this one. Nothing, not shit talking Joe and Carrie and their abilities to watch movies or musicals, but, it's just not their forte. It's not what they're really into. I made that mistake also by having them watch a singular episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine when neither of them have ever watched any Star Trek. So, look, podcasting is all about, making mistakes and finding out what works. Also consistency, be consistent. So we have that. I'm probably going to bring Eric on to talk about some more musicals. Maybe I was thinking Seven Brides for Seven Brothers just because of how fucked up it is. But we might do Into the Woods, the latest Disney Into the Woods. It's got Chris Pine in it, so I'll watch anything with Chris Pine in it. It's got a good set of pipes on him for a pretty boy. So that, and then we've got a Zoo Crew News Hour coming up. So that's, I don't know when those two are going to be flopping back and forth, but patreon.com/hell of a way to die. You will find all of that plus 8 years of previous bonus content for you. All of that will be there. And we are going to be doing some more MASHcast. Carrie and I have been kind of talking about MASH because we just finished season 2 of MASH. We've been doing 2 episodes. We've been doing it for like over a year at this point. But we're going to slip in a few other things. Carrie grew up watching Columbo. I've never watched a single episode of Columbo. So Carrie said he's got some episodes that he can send me that we can watch, and so I'm looking forward to that. So we're gonna maybe expand a little bit, maybe do after MASH or a little bit of that got off. So after MASH went off the air, after Walter, whatever, the guy who played Radar, after he left MASH, he went and did his own show where he became like a cop detective in St. Louis, Missouri. So we might watch that. I don't know. It lasted 1 season probably because it fucking sucked. So we will be expanding on some of that. I know Nate's got some stuff coming up as well. He's going to be doing some reviews with November Kelly as well. So we've got the podcast is still going strong. We got lots of episodes coming out. So keep an eye out for all of that stuff coming up this week. I'm sorry. So keep an eye out for all that stuff coming up this month. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Leave your comments down below. I love reading it. I love that we get more and more comments. When I was putting everything on Libsyn, no comments on that. But on Patreon, on YouTube, we get a lot of people talking, and I'm glad. I'm glad we have that. We can have that dialogue in the back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.